Hey guys, Melissa here. Welcome to your Melissa Moments. The time has come for us to repurpose this wreath that we thrifted the other day. I did already do a do-it-yourself video on making wreaths. So if you haven't seen that yet, feel free to see that one. Today, this is a much larger wreath, and it's probably going to take me a lot longer to do. So if you watch my first video, you kind of have an idea of how I do my wreaths, of how I put it together. This one's a little different just because it is a willow wreath. So it's a little different, but not much. So I don't know how much talking I'm going to do in this video because it's going to take me a lot longer. I don't want the video to be too long, so it might just be really fast forwarded so you can kind of get an idea. But on the bits that are different, I will make a point of talking so you guys can see what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is start by removing the price and removing all of the flowers and ribbons that are currently on here. So I did pay $7.99 at Value Village for this. If I was smart, I would have got a garbage bag, but that's fine. Okay, so you just kind of want to see how things are attached. Sometimes, if we're lucky, there won't be a lot of glue. So obviously the crepe paper, we're just going to rip off. Try to remove as much as you can, but if you can't get it all, don't stress about it, you guys, because we will just put something over top of it to cover up any glue or paper that's going to be there. Okay, so we're just removing this. I'm sure when this was brand new, it probably was gorgeous, but obviously after a while, things, you know, don't always look so nice. But that's okay. That's what repurposing is for, right? Okay. See, nice. I was hoping that that was the case. A lot of times with these willow branch wreaths, they don't even glue the flowers in. They just kind of tuck them in. And that was the case with this one. Now, if you wanted to, ew, what a debris in there. Interesting. If you wanted to, you could repurpose these flowers. These ones are nothing to repurpose. And just looking at it, I'm assuming that they stored this wreath in a basement or in a garage or something like that, because I don't know if you can tell, there's a very old, let's see if you can get a picture of it. See that? Cocoon right in there. It looks really old. It looks like whatever was in there either hatched out or died. So thankfully, we're not going to have any little critters in the house, which would be nice because we don't like critters in our house. Let's see if any more of these, oh, we're just going to rip these off apparently, are just tucked in. This one is as well. Now, don't be alarmed if little branches fall off. This is a natural willow wreath. This is bound to happen. Over time, branches are going to fall. It's a natural product, right? It's not man-made, so it is going to happen. Don't worry about it too much. Okay. Do you remember when crepe paper was the thing? Do you remember that? Like, I remember going to craft stores and they just had like walls of crepe paper, all different colors and patterns, and that's what everyone was using at the time. I just aged myself, didn't I? Okay, that's fine. Let's see if we can get more of these to just come out. I don't know if this is glued or what. Let's just see if we can rip this one out. Oh, it's attached. Interesting. Okay, well, we're ripping you out, so. Okay, there we go. Oh, we got a leaf in here. Oh, come on, leaf. It's glued. Oh, okay. Okay. So we've taken it all off. You can still see, you know, some spots. Don't worry about that too much. There's debris all over the table, of course, because it is a natural wreath. We're actually going to, excuse me. A couple things we can do. We're going to clean it up a little bit. So anything that's sticking out that I don't like, we're just going to clean it up a little bit. And it's okay to do this if there's things that you don't like. And the nice thing is it's a natural willow, so you can just break off any little bits that you don't like. Like this, what you can see, this was wound around and it's kind of come off. So we're going to try to rewind this just because it is kind of holding things together. And then you're just going to want to find a spot to kind of stick it in so it can hold it. So there are, you can see this one piece that's wound. You want to make sure that stays intact because that's what's holding the whole thing together. Okay. So I'm good with that. It's cleaned up a little bit. We're going to set this aside, okay? Because believe it or not, we're not starting there today. So let's clean our space just a little bit. I picked up these. Remember, I talked about these in the last video. And the plan was we were going to paint these with, you know, either Welcome or Home Sweet Home or whatever it was. I decided not to use this on the wreath I'd already made because it was a smaller wreath. So I wasn't going to do that. However, I am going to use one on this wreath. So this is just a raw wood piece that's been cut with a scalloped edge. So we're going to paint this first. And I've got 3 paints here. I've got a white, a yellow, and a black. I've got my paintbrushes. So we're going to start by painting it because obviously it's going to need a few coats and it's going to need to dry. So let's find probably this one. I just don't know what color we should do this. I'm trying to envision. I'm probably going to get to say welcome. And I'll probably put the welcome with black outline, yellow insert. So let's do this white. Now this, I had picked up this paint from the Dollar Tree. It was $1.50. Now this specific one, I bought this a while ago for a different project. So this is leftovers. These 2 are new. I am going to also try to keep track of the price of what all my supplies and stuff are, just so you guys have an idea of what it costs me to make these wreaths. So I will let you know at the end all the supplies we used and what the cost was. I don't know why I just feel I need to continually talk. I am a bit of a talker. But let's see if I can paint and be quiet. the nice thing is this paint dries pretty quick, especially because I'm doing just light layers. You don't want to put too thick a paint on here because it's going to take longer to dry. I am also getting paint on my table. I could have put newspaper down. If you're really concerned about your table, feel free to do that. I'm a mom, so this table has been through a lot. And this is a pretty good table. This is water-based, so it will come off without much fuss. So I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so we've got one coat on there. I don't know if you can see the lighting all of a sudden is kind of crappy. It's pretty dry already. We're going to put some more on it. I'm going to do this a little bit thicker, so it's going to take a little bit more time for it to dry. But that's okay. I also need to keep track of the time because I have to pick up my daughter from school. And when I'm crafting, sometimes the time just kind of goes by really fast. And I don't even realize what time it is. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late. You can also use sponges. Like I'm using a brush right now, but I just remembered my daughter actually has some sponge brushes, which that might have actually been good to use too. And I might even switch to that. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. See. So I'm just trying to get these brush strokes as clean, as possible. And again, you didn't necessarily have to paint this. You could leave it the way it was. It's just a personal preference for me. I also like painting, so two birds, Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. However, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm also going to do the edges. You can do the back if you want to, but definitely not necessary because you're not going to see it. But again, if you want to, go for it. So I'm just kind of using the extra paint that's on here. I've got lots of paint on my brush still. And obviously there's still some paint in here. I'm just using that to do the edges. You honestly don't, paint goes a long way. It really does. Try teaching that to a 6-year-old. I'm amazed at how much paint she uses. It's like, no, that's plenty of paint. no, Mom, I need more. And before you know it, the whole bottle's gone on like something super small. And you're like, I don't understand. But I suppose we're all like that when we're little. And I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if some of like the wood is showing through and stuff, like that's okay, because this is going to be, this specific wreath again is going to be kind of rustic. We're going to have sunflowers and burlap and all that. So yeah. Okay. So you see how I've kind of got it painted. I did the edges a bit too. I want this to dry, so I'm just going to set it on here. I got paint all over my hands, so I'm just going to do a quick pause. I'm going to wash my hands, clean the table a bit to rid of the paint, and then we're going to jump into the wreath, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, guys, hands are clean, got all this stuff here. So just to recap what we're using for materials, we've got these little guys from the Dollar Tree we're going to probably rip apart. We've got a couple of these burlap ribbons that have some lace on there. Here's the second one, so we'll probably use that. And then we've got flowers. Probably not using these pink ones, but all these sunflowers. I've got a couple of these Gerber daisies. I have a little bit of these orange ones, which I might throw in there. And we do have more greenery, which I might rip apart and use if I feel necessary. Now I've decided, we ripped off all the old stuff. I'm actually going to make that the back of it. Just because I don't know how I'm designing it yet, and I want to make sure all those old bits of paper that are on there aren't going to be visible. I've also chosen which way my wreath is going to go. So I've decided, because it's not a complete circle, it's homemade, we're going to go this way. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little oval shape. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I figured out which way it's going to go. I've got all my flowers. I'm going to start by taking all these flowers out and probably just start kind of placing them on the wreath without gluing, just to kind of get an idea. Oh, this guy. The wire on this guy came completely out, so that's fine. We'll just take the, it's fine, we'll do that. So let's see, sunflowers. I'm so lucky I found this whole thing of sunflowers. Like, this is perfect. It's exactly what I need. Exactly. Okay, so I'm probably not going to use these pink guys. I'm just going to throw those aside for now. I'll probably keep the greens on here, is what I'm thinking. So we've got 1, 2, 3. That one's just a stem. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, stem, 9, stem, 10, 11, 12, 13, stem, 14, 15, 16, ooh, 17, 18, nice, 18 of these sunflowers. I'm also going to try to figure out what I want to do with the burlap. If I want to do a big ribbon, or if I want to like wrap it around. Ooh. Ooh. What do you guys think of that? What if I wrapped it like around, like just wide, wrapped it around. That might be nice. Okay, what do we think? Just trying to decide if we do something like that. I know it's hard to tell because it's cut off a bit. So we could wrap it around. We could also do like a big bow at the bottom. I also need to figure out where I'm putting that welcome sign. Welcome sign over here, maybe with a big bow. And then I gotta decide what kind of bow I want. So there's lots of different ways to do bows. You can also just do it's tricky with burlap ribbon like this because usually I just kind of go back and forth, back and forth. But with this ribbon, in order to see the white, you have to do a twist in there. And it can be kind of frustrating. But we'll try it and see what we think. I also usually use pipe cleaners to hold it together. But I don't currently have any. So I got to figure out how I'm holding this baby together. So you kind of just do one of those and then you fluff it all out and then it turns into like a little kind of bow. But I'm not sure if I want to do that either. In the meantime, I'm just going to grab a zip tie. Give me a second, guys. So I do have zip ties, which it's always good to have zip ties on hand because you never know when you're going to need something. They come in all different sizes and colors. Just want to make it as tight as you possibly can. Like, as tight as you possibly can. I feel like this should be able to go tighter. Okay, and that's just going to kind of hold this together. And then you kind of just want to fluff it out. So you kind of want to pull and twist. It's kind of what you're doing. It's just, it should, it's been a while since I've made a bow. It should kind of fluff up, if that makes sense. There we go. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with now, one of those. And then you can just, you know, place it on there wherever you want it to go. So we've got one of those made. I don't know where I'm going to stick it yet, so I'm just going to set that aside. Let's put that over here for now. And now let's just kind of look at all these sunflowers. Now, like I said, the nice thing about this type of wreath is you don't even necessarily need to glue a lot because, as I mentioned in my last video, I still can't find my wire cutters, so I might just be sticking these in. You can either take the heads off and glue them directly to it, or you can just kind of stick things in. So I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen for me. I'm just trying to envision trying to envision it, which sometimes is difficult to do. But we'll see what we can do. This flower has a defect, which is fine. And this isn't going to be perfect because, like I said, I'm not gluing anything yet. So I'm just placing things. And sometimes the flowers don't really go the way you want them to. So it makes it more difficult. But that's fine. You give us an idea. So I've just got kind of, let me move the camera so you can see a cluster happening here. Again, not 100% sure if I'm liking it or not. I just kind of want an idea. So I'm plugging my glue gun because I'm not using it for a while and I'm wasting all my glue. Not sure how I feel about that yet. I like this side. This side's a mess. So, I like this side. This side I feel is a whole mess. I'm not liking it at all. So we might, I don't know. I'm probably going to glue these guys in place now that I've unplugged my glue gun. Because I like the way this is looking. This side I just don't like. So I'm going to start here. And we'll just keep going. Because I really like how these are placed. And like I said, we don't necessarily need to take the stems off. I'm just going to glue them in place a little bit, just so things don't move. If that makes sense to anybody. Oh no. It's okay. It's okay. We're good. We're good, guys. We're good. Just having some issues. Aren't we all? So like I said, I'm just going to tack this down a little bit here with some glue. Just because I just got it on my finger. That hurt. It's fine. Just want to... Whew. I'm like, where's my glue? Oh, there it is. Just want to tack this in place a little bit. I just don't want these moving around too much because I like the place. Like, I like how they're laying. And, yeah, I like how things are coming together here. And remember, in the last video, I said, if you stick something somewhere and you end up not liking it for whatever reason, you can always take it off and redo it. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little hot glue is all we're using here, guys. Mistakes can be made, and mistakes can also be fixed. So don't worry. Don't worry at all. Lots of glue strings. It happens all the time. Yeah, I really like how this looks on this side. Okay, that's really nice. Okay. So I really like how this is looking on this side. This side's just a mess. That's okay. It's not always going to be perfect the first time you do it. So what I've learned is if I like this side, I'm going to rip all these out. Because now I have found my starting point, which is this side. So I got to decide, since I like this so much, that's pretty. I'm just trying to figure out where this welcome part is going to go. I'm wondering if I put this here, do flowers all the way around and put the welcome sign over here and leave this part bare. I'm liking that. Is that what we should do? You tell me. What do you guys think? Is that what we should do? I don't know. I'm going to nestle that in there. Nestle. Did I just say nestle? Nestle. I'm going to nestle that in there. So we're going to glue this baby right where it is. We're just going to, so what I do is I just put a crap ton of glue in there. And then I kind of hold it in place. And the glue's just going to grab things because it's a natural wreath. And it should stick. And then you can just kind of fluff it out a little. And then if you feel that it's maybe moving around too much, just different angle. Go in with a little more glue over on this side. And then just stick her down. And she should hold. She should hold into place, guys. Okay, so that's what we've got here. I'm liking it. So far, so good. Now, don't forget, we have other flowers to use too. So far, I've just used sunflowers. Now, we can just use sunflowers, or we can toss in a few little orange guys, which I might tuck in later. I think we're going to focus on the sunflowers right now, and then we can always tuck in some of these little greeneries and bits later. So let's just continue to focus. I don't like how this sunflower is moving around on me. So let me see where we can glue this guy, just to give him a little bit more control of where I want him to be. There we go. There we go. So I think I'm kind of doing a stack thing. So I've got 1 and then 2, and then I'm kind of going like this. You see how I'm kind of going crisscross? I think I'm going to keep that pattern. So I'm just going to keep crisscrossing, I think. Because I like that there. And I might not even have to glue that guy. And don't forget, these are on wires. So you can bend these, you know. Because if we just kept these straight stems, then all you're going to see is this side of the flower. If you just give it a little bend, then you're going to see this, right? So don't be scared to manipulate your floral to, you know, into what you want it to be. You can do that. And like I said, if something happens and you don't like it, guess what? You can fix it. You definitely can. Almost everything can be fixed. I say almost because there are a few exceptions. But how are we liking that? I like it so far. Okay. Let's keep going. Is it ever too much? Yes. You definitely can do too much. I have a habit of doing too much. I'm trying to get better at being more simplistic, but it's just not in my nature, if I'm being honest. So, you know. See this one's poking out here? It's okay. We can always tuck it in somewhere. We can always tuck it in. Okay. Don't be scared to really bend things where you want them to go. Don't be scared about it. This guy needs glue, and he needs it now. Because he's just not going where I need him to go. Come on. That's the nice thing about the willow frames, is there's so many little holes and gaps. You can pretty much hide all of your stems within, which is nice. Whoops. So you don't always necessarily need to glue everything. So far I'm liking it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Like this video if you like how this wreath is turning out. Check the time. You guys, we're running out of time, and I'm not even close to being done. That's frustrating. Usually when I start a project like this, I don't want to stop until I have it finished. But mommy duties, you know? I should also say, when you're using natural wreaths like this, you do want to be slightly careful because splinters do exist. You can always wear gloves if you are clumsy or accident prone. You definitely can. Okay, I'm going to glue this guy too. This guy needs a little, he needs a little glue. It's my answer to everything. If something's not behaving, more glue. Glue it down. Yes, I lost my glue stick. I was hoping you wouldn't see that. It's okay. Glue, glue, glue. More glue. Don't worry too much about all the glue strings. We can definitely clean that up later. Okay, this is what we got so far. I'm liking it. I don't even know. I'm trying to decide if I want to go further or if I'm happy with how that looks. I think I'm happy with how that looks. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm going to pause you again for a second and grab that sign again. Okay, here's a little sign. It's dry. We're not done with it, obviously, but we gotta decide. I was kind of thinking putting it down here with welcome. I could also stick it like in the corner over here. Welcome. And then I put another ribbon here or something. I'm thinking maybe down here, hey? I think down there is nice. Okay, so the sign's not done yet, but if we're gonna stick it down here, then the question is, do we want more sunflowers? So this is what I'm thinking. Bear with me. Okay. Put our little sign down here. Put another sunflower down there. I think so. Okay. So we know this is where the sign's going to go. It's almost time for me to go, you guys. So, whew, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put another coat or two of white on here so it can dry. I will be back later to show you more video. Don't worry. If I do things, it won't be like everything. I will come back and keep taking you guys along on the journey with me. So I will be back. For me, it'll be an hour. For you, it'll be a couple seconds. So we'll see you guys soon.